Over at DC Comics, Batman and Robin just got in a giant battle with the robot known as Failsafe, and in a really climactic encounter between Batman, Robin, and Failsafe, the robot took a shot over at Batman that caused him to transport into an alternate version of Gotham where the Batman doesn't even exist. Bruce Wayne has gotten the opportunity to check in on alternate versions of his supporting cast throughout this series that have teased some really fascinating status quos. But the multiversal version of the Joker has caused Batman to go in some really epic fights throughout this series. And today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Batman's epic encounter with the villainous Red Mask over in the pages of Batman 135/issue 900. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. I want to go ahead and kick off our review of Batman 135 by reading DC Comics' creative team behind this issue. This one is written by Chip Zdarsky, featuring pencils from Mike Hawthorne, Jorge Jimenez, and Mikel Janin. The issue is inked by Adriano Di Benedetto, Jorge Jimenez, and Mikel Janin as well. And the issue is colored by Tomeu Morey and Romulo Fajardo Jr. The letters in the issue are done by Clayton Cowles, and the gorgeous cover over for the issue is illustrated from Jorge Jimenez. Here's a look at Jorge Jimenez's epic cover over for Batman 135. We see Batman taking on the villainous Red Mask character over on this tease of the cover. I want to extend a big thank you over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of this special anniversary issue of Batman so incredibly fast here. And I want to go ahead and start off by talking a little bit over on the art for the issue. One of the things I really enjoyed about this story was some of the work over from Mike Hawthorne in the issue. Hawthorne's pencils in this tale are incredibly detailed, and I love some of the kind of shading across the tale as well. Due to the fact that Hawthorne has drawn, I think, so many of these previous Batman of Gotham issues, it really feels like readers are kind of at home watching Hawthorne render such kind of detailed and fascinating pages throughout this issue. Really love the way that Hawthorne draws these kind of alternate versions of Batman characters that we see over across this issue. And there's multiple pencilers in this story, including Mikel Janin and Jorge Jimenez. Jorge Jimenez's blend of pencils and art contributed throughout the issue get really amazing and homage so many different kind of Batman touchstones and centerpieces in the story. It's incredible to look at kind of Jorge Jimenez's art in all of the different contexts he strives to achieve throughout this issue. Also, I do enjoy kind of what Mikel Janin brings to this tale as well. I think Batman 135 and this Batman of Gotham story arc really kind of requires really nuanced and detailed pencils to get across all of those haunting feelings in terms of the facial expressions. I think kind of the secret ingredient to this story arc in general is the fact that it's taken Bruce Wayne, Batman, out of his element and made him appear more vulnerable. Due to the fact that we saw Batman in a really climactic moment last issue lose kind of one of his appendages, I really like the fact that Bruce is just so far off his game in the opening of the issue as a whole. Watching Bruce kind of learn more about Red Mask in this tale was also really, really harrowing here. And watching kind of some of his schemes start to unfold, I think, is really fascinating throughout this issue. One thing that's incredibly interesting about Batman 135 that I really have to hand over to author Chip Zdarsky is how this issue is structured. Because I think with DC Comics, they kind of gotten in a sort of rut where all these anniversary issues just have several additional backup stories. But what they don't have are kind of, these tales that really make these kind of frontline stories really go on and seem interesting. This is an anniversary issue due to the fact that it references so many aspects of Batman continuity, but it manages to fold them into the main story, so the publisher doesn't have to go through all of these kind of detours in the tale. So I really like Chip Zdarsky's more streamlined approach over to the anniversary issues of comic books, and I really hope that kind of moving forward with Batman 1000 that we get something that references so many different kind of Batman stories and has so many different callbacks here. I just love the fact that this anniversary issue feels like it's been plotted and directly tied into so many aspects of this Batman of Gotham run. It is such a thrill seeing all the different characters kind of utilized across this series in all these different contexts. I'm telling you, if you are a massive fan of the Batman property and are really kind of aware of all of the comic book origins of the character as well as other media, this issue is really going to appeal to you. I think it's incredibly creative the way that Chip Zdarsky and some of his collaborators were able to kind of reference continuity, utilize this multiversal Joker, and still stay within the same issue. I think this tale is an absolute work of art. One of my favorite things about it was kind of the very, very last page when readers got to return to a status quo that we saw very, very early in the story that Chip Zdarsky spent so much time building up. Oftentimes it just feels like these anniversary issues are just kind of stopgaps and kind of filler moments, but this one really feels cohesive. It really feels like an interesting whole and does such a great job reintroducing some earlier plot threads into the series and kind of strengthening future issues of the tale as well. Really excited to check out where Batman and Red Mask are next month and how some of these other kind of alternate continuity versions of characters might return to Chip Zdarsky's Batman run in a later context here. And I can't stress it enough, but the artwork here from Jorge Jimenez is just so imaginative here. I've really enjoyed Jimenez's work in so many different contexts. And one thing that I've really been kind of looking for as an artist from him is seeing something that really kind of challenges him and kind of pushes him as one of DC's premier artists. I think that this issue kind of has the pencil set, the artwork to evoke some of those feelings. And like I said before, this issue does feel like a proper celebration of the Batman property as a whole, which is exactly what an anniversary issue should do in the first place. So I think this was an absolutely phenomenal issue of Batman that I won't soon forget. I loved all of the different stories that Chip Zdarsky and some of his collaborators were able to reference across this tale. Mike Hawthorne, Mikel, Janin, and Jorge Jimenez's art across this issue was just wonderful. I love how this tale also utilizes some of the elements of kind of recent Batman stories, kind of utilizing like Ghostbreaker and Punchline as well. I think these kind of new Gotham characters are really what's going to bring the DC universe forward. And I love that Chip Zdarsky has the reverence for so many comic book creators in the past here. Also, I really have to give it to DC's editorial for fleshing out Batman in all of these different ways. Well, I want to know from you, did you enjoy this issue as much as I did? Did you think this was a kind of legendary issue of Batman that had so many epic callbacks? I want to hear your comments on the issue down in the comments below. Thank you guys one last time for coming to check out the video, and we'll be back really soon for more excellent comic book content. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.